we get there, you can start in the position, or we can kind of work on a setup. I will say, this might be a little inauthentic, or we're working the same kind of thing. We're pulling or pulling in, we're clubbing here. A lot of times, like, again, when I have my guillotine, their base is going to be somewhat like either wide, or one arm's coming in fighting like the hands or the guillotine. So it's going to be somewhat inauthentic, where I want this position here, where I'm off to the side. I have an over back grip, and I have kind of an underhook here, or an elbow where I'm pulling this in. It's a little bit easier, I think, when people are opening the space for body lock passing. Here, you just have to push the head from the center line off to the side to get this in, where it tends to come and play a little bit more. So first variation here, I'm gonna go to my shoulder, I'm gonna pull with my knee, and I'm gonna keep my foot on the ground. So I'm gonna go 1, this is not good enough, 2, and then from there, I look to base with my foot on the ground, and then throw in this direction, coming over the top. So that's kind of the first application of the move. However, there's going to be times, especially for this move, where it might not feel like we have enough momentum to kind of go through. So maybe Ace is coming in, I need to make sure I push that to the side. Let's say I get here, and I just can't quite get this, where it doesn't feel like I can bring her overhead and load the hips. So from here, in this scenario, I'm pulling here with my knee, I'm going to physically kick baseline backwards and come up to one knee. Now from here, I have a lot more potential energy to work from, where now I can fall back using this. Essentially, I'm going to create a dilemma between me pushing in and just essentially coming up for front headlock. Sorry. An Aisling's push back reaction to load that. So we have that dilemma of us coming up for front headlock. They're likely going to push in a little bit because they don't want that. They're like, don't grab my head. When they commit their weight, we're going to look to pull and go on our Yoko Sumi Gaeshi. So, one more time. And again, we can play with just kind of feeding it. As long as the arms to the side here, we're fine. I'm just reaching over the top. And you can also do similar things with just this front headlock kind of chin strap grip, where I'm looking to go 1, 2, and play from that position as well. So you don't need to necessarily take an over back grip. We're in 1, 2, playing with the idea of using the momentum. We're unsuccessful the first time. I kick back and I come up. Now from here, I'm pushing in. Second, I feel a little pushback. I use that to come over the top. Great kind of thing. We're looking at knee pull and build up for height. I said the focus is going to be on essentially building potential energy. So the higher we get, the more potential energy we have. We can take this as far as being up on the feet. I will say, just for this room today, maybe play with it once or twice, but we really just don't have the space to kind of work it on the feet. So we're going to be on the ground. We're going to have our grip set. So my partner is going to kind of be in. So as I go to hit this move, Roman's just going to pull back, and I'm going to pull my knee. The second that happens, I build up to one knee. And like I said, we could even do this for the feet, where essentially, like, I'm driving in. If Roman were to get up to his feet, it'd be the same kind of thing, where I'm coming in, I'm just shooting this to the side, and I'm building this over. When you're higher up, you have, more potential energy to work with. So something to think about. 1, 2, 3. So now we're just going to work off of our Yoko Sumi Gaeshi, then basing, and us getting into our entanglements. So from here, we can start on a farther out range. As Aislinn goes to pull, boom, I'm coming in, 1, 2. From here, I'm looking to pull and grab my grip. I'm not going to put a big emphasis on the forward and back motion. You can do this in one go, but just know if you are ever unsuccessful and their hips are low, here. Do that to come up and get this height, so when we go on it, it's going to be much greater. Now from here, it's going to take a little bit of partner coordination, having a good UK here. As I go and I fall to my side, I'm going to let go of her elbow and my lat grip. She's going to base when I do this. So I'm keeping this in tight initially, trying to load her up. But there's going to be a point where I come underneath and I let go of it to come in. From there, I have the ability to get underneath the base. I have a couple different options. For right now, we're going to go backside 50-50. Everyone come over here. So I'm always trying to keep the bend in the leg. I don't want to start in a position where I'm giving this away for free. So I place my hand to trap somewhat of a bend. It's not always going to be like a huge bend, but it's going to be a little bit of a bend. From here, I'm going to take my right side hand. I'm going to go to the other side armpit, and I'm going to redirect this. Notice how that keeps the bend there. Now from here, I'm going to go to my double 50 position, and I'm going to get a tight, essentially lat grip with Aislyn's big toes coming in. I make sure my elbow stays tight here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go chest down on a single hand. One more time, coming in, 1, 2, we get into our grips. From here, keep it tight, I pull, I load, I let go. From here, I redirect, and I make sure when I change angle, I have that wedge locked in. From there, I didn't trap double 50, but if her knee comes up, no worries, you have other options. From here, I can easily walk in a triangle and bring it right to the hip. From here, I'm going to turn my knees to the mat, and I'm essentially just bridging through here as I pull her big toes back. So that's another good option. Bring your 50-50 triangle right to the hip, and then bring your chest to the mat and just bridge through with your single hand grip. So 2 options for if you can trap both legs. Do so, get the double 50. If you can't quite get it, go to your traditional 50-50, walk in your triangle, walk your foot on the hip, go chest down, and make sure you keep that bend in the leg, pulling back the big toes with your elbow. Get a nice bite on your lat. 1, 2, 3.